Unit 7 was all about evolution. What do you know about evolution? What do you know? What do you know about Darwin? Who is Darwin? The what? He came up with the theory of evolution and this concept of natural selection. What is natural selection? Tell me. What is it? What was the phrase? Organisms best fit or adapted to their what? Environment. Do what? Organisms best adapted to their environment do what? Survive and what? Reproduce. Survive means nothing if I don't pass on my traits. Okay. So there were 4 criteria to be met for it to be considered natural selection to take place. And that is there must be variation. There must be different colored wings. So in this case, this person is different. There's an abundance where the ecosystem can't support everyone. So these ones start dying off. So the different survival rates, the ones that survive the better. So I think this says this one they were easy to hide from the predator. So the ones that they're easy to hide, they went on and they get to pass on their traits. Pass on traits, we start favoring a different type of selection. We wind up having someone else beating them. That is natural selection. That's how we started Unit 7. We said, hey, this looks like things are evolving. So what is evolution? What is evolution? Define it for me. What's evolution? What's the definition of evolution? I thought you were saying it a little bit earlier. Change over time. So what is microevolution then? Small change over time. So it's the small change over time. Do you want me to zoom in there? Is that close enough? Good? Okay. So my small changes over time, the way I can see evolution has occurred. My first one is a mutation. What is mutation? Random change in your DNA, right? I can also do gene flow. What's gene flow? When I flow my genes, what does that mean? Genes are flowing. So a big thing we call the US a melting pot because there was a lot of gene flow. What does gene flow mean? Mm-mm. It's emigration and emigration, migration. Emigration, immigration. Genetic drift is your random disaster. That's going to decrease your population size. So that's your founder's effect and your bottleneck effect. What is a founder's effect? Form their own, right? They form their own population. What is a bottleneck effect? Way more in. What is a bottleneck? I put things in a bottle, I shake it out. What's happening in my population? I've decreased it. That's one where you get a lot of your natural disaster. Only a few of them survived. We overhunted them. There was a fire. Something happened where we only wind up with the babies, a little bit of the population. And then the last one is natural selection, which what we said was the environment favors things. The environment favors. There were 3 types of natural selection. Directional is where you favor one side. So maybe you favor high, you favor low. Stabilizing, you favor the middle. Intermediate phenotype does the best. And it says diversifying, disruptive is what we were calling it. That's when you favor both high and low. So that's typically like a camouflage situation, or a small and large beaks are able to get the nuts, but the middle ones die. We favor both of them. And that's our small changes. Small changes, of course, lead to large changes over time. And I wind up with this concept of speciation. What is a speciation? What is speciation? What word do you see in there? Species. So you think I'm making a species. It is the formation of a new species. Take me a little bit more time to get the other side. Oh, I forgot. What does macro mean? Large. The speciation formation of a new species. I do that through isolations, whether reproductively or geographically. So what would be a reproductive isolation? What does it mean, isolate, to isolate? I can't do what? Can't mate, right? I can't interact with each other. What are the types of reproductive isolation? I'm not going to mate because, why? Why doesn't your dog mate with your cat? They don't have the same mechanicals, same parts for their size. Frogs, you'll see a lot of temporal stuff, seasonal. And then our mating dances, behavioral. Blue-footed boobies like to do little dances. Birds like to sing. Don't like them. What's geographical isolation? You can't mate because where they live, right? Something barrier. Different sides of the canyon. There was a volcanic interruption. They can't meet. That can all lead to us forming new species. We like to think of macroevolution in terms of punctuated equilibrium and gradualism. Do you know what punctuated equilibrium means? What does punctuate mean? Right, a period. What does that mean? You've done what? It's like stop. You stopped it. It's interrupted. So this is when evolution happens in bursts of change. It happens rapidly. Followed by no change. So it's kind of like, boom, I turned something different. Okay, boom, I turned something different. What's gradualism? If I do something gradually, slowly, over a long period. So that would kind of be like, I'm just slowly going up. And I'm filled with changes, generation by generation. Okay, I'm going to go over to the right. With your additional vocab to know before we go to the top. Tell me, what is an adaptation? I've adapted, I have an adaptation. Yours is opposable thumbs. What does having thumbs help you do? Grab things, right? So would you call it beneficial? Adaptations are beneficial traits. They typically improve survival. What is artificial selection? What does artificial mean? Fake. So artificial selection is when what does what? Humans make the traits. What's a big example of artificial selection that we do? Passenger pigeons? Good. Dogs? They're putting dogs in purses now and teacups. We do it a lot with cows, cattle, horses. Think about race horses are bred to the max using artificial insemination. What is convergent evolution? Are the species related in convergent or unrelated? Unrelated. And basically they get more and more alike. So do you know an example of one? What about sharks and dolphins? Right? Both have the dorsal fins. Both have tails. Dolphins are mammals. Sharks aren't. They're fish. You can do any type of thing that flies. Bats and birds are unrelated. Getting more and more alike. Divergent is when they're getting different. So when they're related. So they started the same, and they're going to go apart from each other. And then co is together. Typically, it's anything that was in a symbiotic relationship. Causing both to evolve. Big one of this, I think, is the hummingbirds. As the plants' pistils got shorter, they kind of went more into their buds. The hummingbirds' beaks got longer to suck up the nectar. Their tongues, I guess, got longer. So they go together. And when you're ready, we're going to go back up to the top. You ready? Not yet? Okay. Up top. We prove evolution, if I can get there, with our evidence for evolution. We prove it. First one is fossils and homologous structures. We know homo means what? Same. So this is when our similar body structures show common ancestry. We typically prove this with our fossils. So these are all turtle, alligator, birds, and mammals all have their lovely little arm bones. We can prove it in fossils. We can compare things that lived in the past. When we taught it, we showed you the horse, how the horse bones fused together. What about DNA and genetic evidence? I'm comparing what? Same gene code. So when they're closely related, they show that they have the same genes. They must be ancestors. So like the fact that you are like one allele different from a gorilla, 68% of your DNA is the same as the common ancestors. We look the same way. Yeah, embryos. Suggesting right, we all have these eyes and we all have tails. When we start, we all look kind of like fishes. So hey, we all might have came from the same thing. And that was it for Unit 7. Ready? Okay. You do have a stational evolution you are free to do. It's not going to get graded, but you are free to try that one. So Unit 8 is your lovely binomial nomenclature with classification.